Hey crew, Mark Hatmaker here. Let's do a little teeny tiny clip, teeny tiny. Talking about, because we're doing all sorts of frontier weaponry in our black box project. Both, because you know, that's all for the uninitiated, the frontier rough and tumble, both unarmed, empty-handed, and the weapon stuff. It's all mean and vicious. Sport days, it's done. At least where the interest goes right now. We're just trying to be evil. On black box number 12, which is available, yeah, that's right now. We're talking a whole lot about the clinch, weaponizing a clinch. And this is just one of the tiny aspects that goes on with it. We're talking about some Tomahawk within a clinch position. We also talk about a bowie knife with a couple of different grips as we go in with it. And I'm a big believer in using real full-weighted things, but you can't do that in the clinch position. So it's one of the few times that I'm going to tell you, as I kind of lean out of frame here, that it's okay to pick up a mock-up, one of the few times, because I will repeat, as I say again and again and again, if you're training with a partner, a mock-up is okay. If you're training by yourself, you're hitting anything, you're swinging in the air, hopefully you're doing a lot of lumber work, a lot of lumberjacking, you need full weight. Even better, go above your weight class, use things larger. We'll do more on that in the Tomahawk dance portion of Black Box 12, because it's part of the conditioner and make sure you're getting used to the true mechanics of what's going on. These do nothing for us but allow us to kind of set a mental template of what we're wanting to work with in there. So again, I get across with how much I have an antipathy for these mock-ups. Sometimes they're absolutely vital and useful, but again, I tell you, if you're not working with a partner and you still have this in your hand, I think you're spinning your wheels. You need to move over and make sure you get used to what's going on. It'd be like, you know, working your gun disarms and working and then taking your rubber gun to the range. You go, what the hell, man? Wake up. Kylie, let me bring in here, please. One of the things we're doing in this clinching with the weapon thing is we're talking about hooking in and digging in. And clearly with the Tomahawk, we're talking about 100% in 3 ranges. We're talking about 100% off the lead hand, 100% on the second chopping in hand, 100% off the secondary hand, 100% off the butting end, and then we provide lots of ways to do the follow-ups out of that. Here we're just working at one idea. And this idea is the fact that if we do a chop in with the Tomahawk and we realize that the chop has not bit, and how do we know the chop is not bit? You know. You just know. Whenever you're working wood, whenever you swing down, you happen to feel the haft or the handle hit the wood instead of the blade itself. Well, you go, well, I think I have overshot. That means you were a poor lumberjack at that point, but we can often be poor lumberjacks in the fight, because if we're just staying out here and she doesn't move, my chop in, and that's pretty much a sure thing, because she just stood there and took it from me because that's what I wanted her to do. But in the chaos of the fight, I could be running at her at full bore, because that's, again, we're not Tomahawk dueling. If we say, hey Mark, you want to play with some Tomahawk? Sure, we both do this. I would say, time or wrong. We're supposed to be doing these on the run, moving around, always assuming there's more than one person, because we're actually getting the historical recreation of these. There's no dueling. There's killing, and there's a lot of people, right? And there's everything around you. Be eyes open, head on a swivel, looking at everything that goes on around you. The other thing that's going on is that I can overshoot this mark because she's also moving at the same time with full aggression. Here, if she's just standing there and taking it, I'm just a murderer, right? But if she's also engaging and moving in, then there's 2 murderers fighting each other. So what happens on that overshoot is if she happens to be leaning in and the handle is what's bit instead, then I'm going to go to a hook in. And a hook in, it makes a lot of sense. It's called like ground fisting, Sokobi Matsuka, to bring them down to a level. I mean, there's going to be other follow-ups from there. Don't get me wrong, this is ground fisting. This is just very small, and don't think this is, this is a be-all end-all technique. This is just starting something, and we'll give you a small piece of the mechanics of it. So I'm saying I have missed by, I had horrible aim, or she's leaned in, and remember, 100% on this hand, 100% off of this headbutt, everything else, I have missed. Now, if I'm going to hook from here, rather than me just trying to pull out and do this again, because remember, this is a car crash, I may not have time to pull out and do this again, so I need to exploit whatever energy is going on at that particular time. So I want to bring them, go ahead and follow along, because I've got the inertia, if this were a real Tomahawk as opposed to this mock-up, I've got the inertia and the weight on my side. So I would hook in, but I don't necessarily, and I'm going to ground fist. This means I'm going to bring my fist all the way to the mat in this position. So if I'm pulling hard here, she comes in. So I'm sure we can picture that. Stand there for just a moment, an invisible person. So from the side we're seeing, oh, I've hooked in, we've caught here, ha! Right down in front of me, right? Sounds pretty good. But the thing is, not enough good hook. As soon as I hit and realize it's half, I do want to roll it over. So actually I'm having more meat to bite on, not just that. The beard biting into this upper trapezius, I want to catch the back of the neck as well. If I've got a strong little beard on this as well, I might hit some extra punctures in the back of the neck. So what I'm saying is, she gets over here, bam, and I'm going to roll that, right? So I hit, oh no, no go. So you see how I've rolled that here. Invisible person in front of me, here, hit. So as soon as I hit, no go, I roll this around. Then I'm going to start my ground fisting, right? Right. The other thing will be about the elbow angle. I'm not going to give that piece of candy away right now. We'll go really deep into what the elbow angle is, particularly with the Bowie knife on this. But when we're ground fisting, the other thing we want to do is we get a back wheel on it. Why? Because if I don't, pay attention here. Notice this, back here. Where is she? I'm in line, you can see her, and she's right in front of me. It looks like I just pulled her into an involuntary sex act. Or is it voluntary? We're married, you never know. So what happens is when you pull them down, I do not want them in front of me. So as soon as I do this turn, my body turns at the same time. It's this. So I'm ground fisting, just one more. So I'm ground fisting, hit, chop, turn. Super slow because it's still uncomfortable. There's still a hefty point on this mop. Excuse me, here, turn, back fist, this. So what's happening? Go ahead and get out here, champ. What's happening here at the same time is I've had something on the run. I'm able to move, continue on, and give my big skull cracking finish here at the end, counting coup. I'm moving off to fight the next person, survive the next person if possible. What I've taken away from here also, if I bring them straight down in front of me, I might pull them into a takedown. You go, Mark is going to do a takedown amidst of that. People can live for a surprisingly long amount of time. Or let's say even if it's not a takedown, I've pulled them down into me, and I might be taken down by a corpse. And people go, did you just get taken down by a corpse? Yes, I did. That's embarrassing. So what we're trying to do is offset that individual, let their weight go that way, and all we had to do with this entire thing was turn the tomahawk, which reminds me to turn my body, and that will ground fist, and then from there continue on and hit. Now, is that the only way to pull out when we've overshot on it? Of course not. Black Box 12 has a lot more of those. We make sure we're aware of just turning the face of this, which turns the body of it. And if we talk about tomahawk dancing, how the body and the face of the weapon are connected, that's key, kids.